Pop Punk and Pizza podcast is presented by Pop Punk Takeout, a monthly subscription box filled with merchandise from pop punk artists from all over the world. Now, their first takeout box for June 2021 features merch from Keep Flying. Go to poppunktakeout.com and subscribe today. Also follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout.
Hey, don't forget the tip money.
Try honesty. Just try honesty. It looks good to me.
Are you guys okay?
And additional support for this episode comes from sex, drugs, and emo, heartbreak, anxiety, and depression. That's all things you're going to find in our sponsor, which is the book Rock Bottom at the Renaissance: An Emo Kid's Journey Through the Falling In and Out of Love in and with New York City. And now the best-selling mixtape memoir about struggling with mental illness and the power that pop punk and emo can have to help get you through it. Rock Bottom at the Renaissance isn't just an audiobook. It's an audiobook experience starring Tyler Posey and featuring 20 songs that includes 2 Jimmy World recordings that you can only hear in this audiobook. There's also songs from Dashboard Confessional, Mayday Parade, The Wonder Years, Bayside, Alkaline Trio, and more. So stay tuned for a clip later on in the episode. Now, for links to find it at your favorite place to buy books, ebooks, or audiobooks, just go to rockbottombook.com. And I suggest getting the audiobook on Audible to hear the way Tyler Posey puts himself into the story and to feel the way the 20-song soundtrack will put you into the story. It's incredible. If people think you're weird because you find a way to relate to every single song you hear, or because you play songs on repeat because you're sure that they were specifically written for you, then Rock Bottom at the Renaissance: An Emo Kid's Journey Through the Falling In and Out of Love in and with New York City isn't just for you, it's about you. So get more info at rockbottombook.com.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bang a rang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
You're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza with Jacques Lamour.
Whoops, forgot to get rid of my graphic there. Well, hello and welcome to Pop Punk and Pizza. I'm, of course, Jacques Lamour, and that voice you just heard singing our theme song, that is who our special guest is today, Chris DeMakes of Less Than Jake. I'm excited to welcome him back to the podcast. It was about, I want to say it was 3 years ago. I think February of 2018 is the last time Chris DeMakes of Less Than Jake was on the podcast, and so much, obviously, has happened since then. He started his own podcast called Chris DeMakes, a Podcast. Less Than Jake released a new record called Silver Linings. Chris also released his first solo recordings, and he also put out his first book ever. And I know there's probably two other things I'm forgetting. So we're going to get into all that with Chris coming up later on in the show. But this is the first episode that I'm changing the format to something different, which, I do that quite often. But this new format will feature 2 guests per episode, kind of like an opening act and then like a headliner. So before we get to Chris, we are welcoming a really great band out of Virginia, and they're called Ring Out, and it's spelt W-R-I-N-G, Ring Out. And I know we're going to be talking with Cam, and it looks like someone else has joined them, but let's welcome them to the show. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I gotta have a round of applause.
I would like to introduce you to Drew, our bass player.
Drew, okay.
What's happening, man?
I was gonna say because like before we went on, and it was just you and I in the green room or backstage, whatever the heck you want to call it. It was just Cameron or Cam, but now we have Drew. So what's up, Drew?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I get to hang out with you guys. I mean,
That's a blessing.
what more could you ask for? I've only had a handful of bands from Virginia on the podcast, and you guys are specifically like Virginia Beach area, right?
Yeah, so that's where I live in Newport News, about 45 minutes up like north of Virginia Beach, but they all live in that general area, and most of all the shows that we play, that's the hometown. That's where all the hometown shows are.
And I mean, that's one of the bigger cities, or I guess it's a tourist destination, right?
Yeah, so you've got your 7 cities throughout the entire Virginia, because mainly it's just like the east coast of Virginia, which is mainly populated, and then you got western Virginia, which is total just montañas. Yeah, exactly, wasteland. So you've got Richmond, Williamsburg, Newport News, Hampton, Norfolk, Virginia Beach. I think there's like Chesapeake. One of Chesapeake stuff. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, Virginia Beach is definitely, besides Richmond, the hot spot of Virginia. It's like the most popular.
Well, Kyle Phillips says Virginia is for lovers.
It is for lovers. We're lovers. For wine lovers.
For wine lovers, you guys have a lot of wine in Virginia?
Yeah, we do. Well, I don't know if there's a lot of wine in Virginia or if there's like vineyards, but like they have this like mock sticker that's like Virginia's for wine lovers. So.
Nice. And let's see. Heather Hanrahan says, "Hi, baby brother." So which one is that? Drew? Is that your sister?
That's my sister, yeah, that's one of my 5 sisters.
5 sisters?
Yes, sir.
Are you the only boy in the family?
I got a brother too.
You have a brother too. So where do you fall in line? Are you the youngest, the oldest, the middle?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, damn. So what was that like? Because I'm the youngest of 3 boys, including myself. So I had 2 older brothers. But having, you said 5 older sisters and then 1 older brother?
Yeah.
So what was it like to have that many, specifically older sisters in the family?
There was a lot of estrogen flying around. I'm gonna catch some heat because now my sister's watching me. But there was a lot of estrogen flying around the house. But
so
everybody's off doing their own thing most of the time anyway. So
okay. I like, how much are they, like, quite a bit older than you?
They range from the second youngest is 2 years older than me up to 10 years older than me.
Okay.
And then my brother who's 5 years older than me, so we didn't start hanging out as a teenager really.
Yeah. No, that was the same with okay, so your sister's chiming in. She said he got it easy.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
I mean, pretty much, dude. By the time I was running around doing my thing, my parents were tired.
I was gonna say, they're like, we don't care anymore. He's the last one.
Yeah.
If he screws up, then who cares? I'm just kidding, obviously. But she says, watch it. That's funny. So did your sisters didn't like do the whole like dress you up thing, did they?
No, not really. No, not for real. Not that I can remember. I don't know. It might be a repressed memory. I'm not 100% sure.
I was gonna say you might have repressed that. So let's get into to Ring Out. So I was listening to your first EP, which was just released last year, and now I'm for These Walls I Built, right? Great EP. I was impressed with it. But then when I went and I listened to the 2 singles you released this year, it was like I felt like it was night and day. almost. As far as not necessarily the style. I mean, the style is pretty much the same, but I was just really blown away by how well you guys really tightened up your songwriting just from that last EP to 2021.
Yeah, so I mean, we put that EP out in January of last year, and then we actually were able to tour from that EP, like right off the jump. We had put a tour together with our buddies down in For the Best from Florida, and then COVID hit, and we kind of we had some things that we had to work out. We had some, a lot of like the music that we were writing was just very like scattered all over the place. Everything was coming from different directions, so we regrouped over the summer. We got Drew here back into play. And then we really just kind of honed in on how, like, me and Joey. Joey is kind of like the one, I wouldn't say he writes all of our music, but he definitely comes up with a lot of the structures and things like that. So we get together, Brady and I will get together with him, and we'll just kind of like, we'll tweak some things here and there. We'll go through it. We'll play it. Then we'll in-house. We'll just kind of like record it, make it a rough. So we've really just taken the time to kind of like, again, like I said, just regroup and find like that sound we're trying to like push for. And we really think that this new music that we're putting out we're really starting to
culminate.
Yeah, solidify everything as far as like what we're going to do moving forward for sure.
Yeah, and one of those new songs, or the latest single you put out in April, is "I Tap 2" and "Cast Counterspell,"
Yes,
which is very specific. Where does that come from? Because I'm like, I love long song names that make you think, and that totally made me think.
Yeah.
So, what the hell is that?
So right off the bat, it's a reference to Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Okay, that's
so-
why I didn't get it, because
Yeah,
I was like, is this? I was like, it has to be a quote to a movie or something.
So if you like long song names, you're gonna love our EP for sure. But
I think they're coming back. I really think they are.
The quirky weirdo long song names are definitely like fun. Like, I mean, it's cool to listen to a song that like the chorus is like the one word in the chorus. They're just like, okay, what are the lyrics? Cool, let's pull this word. That's the song title. Like, I don't know. So it's just like we've been trying to like. I'm going off a little off subject here, but like when we write songs, what we do is we try to like come up with like quirky names that somehow are like relevant to either the writing process of it or just the lyrics themselves in like maybe a metaphorical way to us or something like that. So it's just kind of like left to interpretation. We feel like a lot of people like that. But I Tap 2 Cast Counterspell came from Magic the Gathering, the card game, and it's basically just the I Tap 2. I don't play the game, so I'm not really sure, but I know that.
Oh, so who in the band does?
I believe Joey.
I don't know.
I don't
even know where it came from.
Joey knew for a fact that
he was rolling.
Yeah, Joey knew what was up. But basically, Counterspell is like, I guess that has to do with like a certain deck that you play, and the like counter deck is one of the decks that are like harder to beat because there's just a lot of like, oh, I play this, no, I counter that. Okay, I play this, I counter that. I tap 2, I counter this. So like, I don't know the whole repetition of it, but he came from that, and we're
going to get blasted for not doing our homework.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know.
Everyone's going to hit us with, you guys are a bunch of posers. But yeah, so I mean, you could thank Joey for that one. Unfortunately, he's not here right now, but he definitely has more understanding about the relevance to that song title. But yeah.
So was he the lyricist then for this song too? I take it?
Yeah. Joey has written all of the songs up until now. We are just starting to delve into where we're kind of doing like these like writing sessions together where he's not the sole like writer. We're all in there. We're kind of generating ideas. We're generating lyrics, words, vocabulary, putting in different like melodies here and there, really like focusing on it sounding good with the song as far as just, nothing sounding too broken and things like that. Everything being very cohesive.
You have to excuse me. I'm trying to get over a sinus infection. So what was that?
I was like, oh, Corona. Yeah.
Corona, yeah. Well, at least I'm by myself. Yeah,
I was going to say, you're 6 feet from everybody. So
yeah, you guys are like 2 feet maybe. 3
we're a
feet.
lot closer.
So-
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Emotionally.
So you're talking about you're finally starting to do songwriting sessions together instead of writing separately and then bringing it to the table. And what has that been like for you guys? What has been the biggest part to kind of get over?
Well, I'm just gonna answer. I mean, as far as like us writing all together, it's just, I think everyone's a lot more happy in the moment, because when things get broken up and they get sent to us in pieces and things like that, I feel like any one of us will get worked up about the work that we've done. So when it's not received as well as, maybe we had hoped, then, we're at a stalemate to where like, oh, well, okay, well, let's just not do it then or whatever. Cause we can all be kind of temperamental sometimes. So, but being able to write together, it's kind of just like in the moment with everybody in front of you, we can really hash these ideas out and
Bounce everything off each other.
100%. So it's a lot better to be more open with our communication. I keep doing this. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Dude, I talk with my hands too, and I'm not Italian. I love doing it. Maybe it's a French thing too, because I'm obviously French. So yeah, no, you're really good.
So just being able to be in the room and hash out everything right away has been a lot better. So that way no one's feelings get hurt. We're all producing a product that we all love. It's just been nice. It's a team effort, really, family team effort.
It's tough when we're all on our own because we all want to write stuff and we all draw inspiration from different things. Like
very much different things.
I don't even listen to that much pop punk music.
Joey's into.
I like ska.
Yeah, Joey's.
Oh, perfect! I love ska. Obviously, our next guest is from ska, a very well known ska punk band, DeMakes. So that's perfect that you're that you're on this episode.
Yeah,
how fitting.
Yeah. I'm the bass player, so I listen to bass player music.
I mean, there are some serious bass players in the ska world. So and obviously Roger Lima from Less Than Jake being one of them.
Oh yeah.
So, well, let's see. It's 7:25. Do you guys mind if we close out with playing your music video for the song?
Yeah, for sure, man. Absolutely.
Cool. And then real quick, how can people find you guys?
So you can find us. It's pretty much just Ring Out VB. I think the only social handle we have with an underscore is our Instagram. But otherwise you can look us up, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, just Ring Out or Ring Out VB, at Ring Out VB on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Bandcamp and all that stuff. We have a big cartel with some merch as well. Just to plug real quick, a few future insights, man. Got some new music coming out. Have a new single on the 2nd. We're rolling out an EP by the end of the summer. Looking forward to doing shows. We have a potential tour lined up for November. So really just stoked to get back into the area. I appreciate you having us as well, man.
Of course. Awesome. Yeah, sweet. I'm excited that you guys are finally able to hit the road again. So good for you. Well, Cameron and Drew, thanks for being on, guys.
Dude, 100%, Jacques. You were awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you.
Pardon, I interruption, I'm cutting you short. Causing disruption, I gotta retort. For your comments you want it, then listen up close. The only thing that I'll ever need is my home. And I'll break off all the links that you make. Your chains won't restrain my fate. Don't create such a scene, this eyes all on me. Don't you smile at me, hiding spite with your teeth. There's contempt behind your comments. Your disguise is ever fleeting. Your systematic crises are more transparent than your feelings. You're exempt from your own process that is ever so demeaning. Though you fight just to make things right. Can't compete with defeat or the fault in your design. make it quick, now my head has been cleared and I can't walk that path again. You'll fuck my friends and I'll lose again. So sick of living second best. So sick of living second best. I never wanted it to come to this. Explode your brain in a clash of wits. I saw what the future holds. You can't get a grip so you lose control. There's contempt behind your comments. Your disguise is ever fleeting. Your systematic crises are more transparent than your feelings. You're exempt from your process that is ever so demeaning. Though you fight and you fight just to make things right. Can't compete with defeat or the flaws in your designs. So long, I hope you resent me. Design falls, have you running on empty. So long, I hope you resent me. The day you left was a blessing. There's contempt behind your comments. Your disguise is ever fleeting. Your systematic crises are more transparent than your feelings. You're exempt from your process that is ever so demeaning. Though you fight and you fight just to make things right. Can't compete with defeat or the flaws in your designs.
Okay, Ring out with I Tap 2 and Cast Counterspell here on Pop Punk and Pizza. Thank you again to Cameron and, of course, to Drew for being on the podcast. And once again, just a reminder that Pop Punk and Pizza is presented by Pop Punk Takeout, which is a monthly subscription service that fills a takeout box with merchandise from pop punk artists from all over the world. And their first takeout box for this month, the first takeout box ever for June 2021, features merch from Keep Flying. You can go to poppunktakeout.com and subscribe today and follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout. And of course, we have additional sponsorship today from a wonderful, wonderful book, which is called Rock Bottom at the Renaissance, an emo kid's journey through falling in and out of love in and with New York City. And here's a clip from the audiobook that is actually narrated by Tyler Posey.
Catching up with me. Fuck that. It's caught up with me. The extra Adderall that I took on top of the extra Adderall that I took earlier today might have something to do with that. I keep noticing new levels of how fast my heart can race without exploding. I've discovered new levels of how much my hands can shake while still being able to type words on a keyboard. I'm finding how much one can feel like they're dying without actually dying. I suppose if I did die in this room, at least my body would be found tomorrow, maybe just sitting in this chair that I've spent most of my time in this weekend. While everyone I know is probably out having fun in the company of friends, I've been in a shitty desk chair in front of a computer, feeling like I'm on death's doorstep, ringing the doorbell with anxiety that wants to look for an unlocked window and just break the fuck in. Turns out, writing about loneliness doesn't make you any less lonely. Writing about being fucked up in the head doesn't make you any less fucked up in the head. Some poor housekeeper, who would probably remind me of my mom, would find me limp and lifeless in front of closed pill bottles and an open laptop with an unfinished book next to a finished bottle of Johnny Walker. Who would care? I'm nobody. I don't have other books that people have loved. No one would say, oh no, he had one more in him and now we'll never know how it ends. Or maybe this is how it ends. But no one would care enough to finish it for me. I have to be the one who finishes it. But shit's getting dark. How is it that I think about the girl with every waking second in every single one of these tens of thousands of words that I've written, and she can't even fucking send me one goddamn text message? Has one thought of me even crossed her mind this weekend? But maybe it's for the best. If she had been more receptive this weekend, or receptive at all, there's no way I would have gotten this far.
Could it be that everything goes around by chance? Or only one way that it was always meant to be?
Could it be that everything goes round by chance? Or is there one way that it was always meant to be? You kill me. You always know the perfect thing to say. I know what I should do, but I just can't walk away. Shit's getting dark, but that seems to be the only way I can write. Every normal day of my life I deal with hurt, but it's just emotional hurt. That's fucking major depressive disorder for you. Hurtful thoughts all the time, but this weekend, I'm also a physical mess. I'm tired of feeling this way.
Okay, Rock Bottom at the Renaissance. Thank you to Mike Henneberger, who wrote the book, Mixtape Memoir. It's narrated by Tyler Posey, the audiobook is, and you can pick that up now wherever it is that you listen to audiobooks. And now we'll get to our second guest of the evening, someone that most of us know and are heavily influenced by, especially in the ska punk community. Chris DeMakes, he is not only known for Less Than Jake at this point, but he's launched his own podcast, Chris DeMakes a Podcast. And on top of that, he's also this last year released his first solo recordings for the first time. And now he's written a book as well called Blast from the Past, which I have a copy of, and I've gotten about halfway through it, and it's it's incredible. So let's welcome Chris to the show. Hello, Chris.
I'm here. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about you, man?
Applause, I hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There you go.
Somebody with that. I want you to hit that as many times as you can during the
I'm trying to. I'm gonna see if I can turn you up a little bit because I can barely hear you. I don't know.
Talk louder.
Yeah, if you can. I'm trying to see. Interesting.
That's strange. I usually.
Maybe it's my headphones.
I don't know because I haven't had that issue when I've talked on here. I'm not using my microphone. I'm using the built-in, but that typically works perfect for.
Oh, okay.
Zoom or StreamYard or anything.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, Chris, thanks so much for being here, man, and coming back to the show.
Yes. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Let's see. We're getting some comments. I wonder. Okay, someone said it's a little quiet.
Huh. Hey, is that better? I can talk loud.
Yeah, but
It's funny, I haven't used, or I think I've used StreamYard before. I don't think my mic is working.
oh, there we go.
Is that better?
There we go. That's what it was. I'm like, that's so.
StreamYard is linked into my microphone. That's good.
Okay. Wow, magical.
So we'll do that then. My input is good on that. How's that?
Cool. That's so much better, man. Thank
Okay,
you.
Perfect.
Thank you for
I
that.
thought I was using the built-in microphone, but evidently it wasn't. Cool. All right.
So I want to start off by giving you an apology, because the last time I had you on the podcast, it was in Chicago. It was on your tour bus. You only had so much time, and I totally went over our time, and I know that was so unprofessional of me, and I know you had a bunch of things to do. So it's something that's stuck out in my brain like ever since then, just because I'm like, oh God, that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. So
I've held a grudge now for about 4 years, and I'm still angry about it. So we need to hash that out right now. Damn it!
I mean, I don't know what it is. I guess it just stuck with me. So I just wanted to just give my apology.
Well,
to you on that, so.
No offense to you, Mr. Lamore. I do not recall that happening. Chances are I was a few beers deep and it didn't matter anyways, but thank you for your apology.
Yeah, I think it's just because like as a journalist, those things stick out in your brain, you know what I mean? Like we've all had those moments where we like say something stupid to people that we idolize or we're fans of or we're interviewing, because obviously you've got Chris DeMakes a Podcast now, so you've been through several interviews now, so I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, to a degree. I that's the one thing about the show that I try not to approach it like an interview. That's
Right.
been a hard thing to get across to the guests, because I've been, in the music, doing music now for going on 30 years. So I've done enough really bad interviews to know that I never ever wanted to interview anybody. I'm more or less wanted to have a conversation. That's really why we went with the theme of songwriting for the show, to where you're just talking about the song. I'm not asking them where they got their band name for the thousandth time, or why their ex bass player sue them for $1 million. I don't get into any of that stuff because I don't want it to come off as an interview. And you've done this for a while too. It's like people that aren't interested, or that come off, and you got to work around that. Luckily for me, I haven't encountered that yet on my particular show. Everyone's been, if they agree to do it, and we're talking about that one song, and I stick to the script, then they're cool with it.
Right, absolutely. And of course, a lot of these people you're friends with, and you know them because you've been playing shows with them
Yeah.
for however long, and that just makes those conversations so much better, because they'll just be upfront and honest with you about how that song fell how the way it did, how it was written out, and everything.
I think some of it has to do with the fact, not so much that I even know them, even the guys that I don't know, they if I don't know them personally, they've at least heard of the name Less Than Jake, or seen our name on festival posters and stuff, or we've been around long enough where there's name recognition, where they're like, okay, this guy like at least kind of knows what he's talking about, to where they're a little more, maybe more open to me than if someone was trying to talk about songwriting and didn't know what a bridge was or a pre-chorus, and they're so I think that I have an in that respect too, which definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And one thing I've been thinking about since Krista Makes a Podcast has started, something that you bring up is Less Than Jake not really having that radio hit like some of your guests have had, and it's made me wonder, like, I wonder what Chris thinks like should have been like the radio hit for Less Than Jake. It's something I've always wondered.
Yeah, the thing about a radio hit, there's so many components that go into it. And when I bring that up on the show, usually it's in reference to something about a hit. It's not a slag of my band. And it's not just my band. There's tons of bands. I mean, how many records do you have in your collection that there's 5, 6, 7 songs deep that could have been on the radio? Bands,
Absolutely.
the people that, the majority of people have never heard of these bands. There's a part luck. There's a part, sometimes the singer has to be cute and good looking and have a good look. The right manager, the right label, the right lightning in a bottle has to happen,
Yeah.
So I think we have had hits among our fans. The Science of Selling Yourself Short. Our fans go crazy when we play that. Maybe All My Best Friends Are Metalheads. I think Rest of My Life has that quality of being a hit song.
That was one that I was thinking of, was Rest of My Life. And of course, The Science of Selling Yourself Short, that did get radio play for sure, because I remember hearing that.
It did. And at the same time, when I do reference that during the show, it's never from a standpoint of like, oh, I wish we had a radio hit, because I don't. If it happened, it would have happened. I've seen a lot of bands torn apart. A lot of bands can't come down once they went up. It's like they get used to the airplane first class accommodations, and get used to playing arenas every night. And it's like, hey, I'm Mr. Manager now telling the band, hey guys, we're back in theaters. We can only take, one bus instead of two. Like, no, we can't do that. And then infighting comes. And a lot of times with a huge hit single too, only the singer might get on the cover of Rolling Stone, which causes animosity within the band members. And, we've split everything equally all these years as a band. We've all had an equal say. Sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen. We want to kill each other, but something's working. We're still together after 30 years, without that hit. So I'll take it.
Yeah. Now that you put it into that perspective, it's like you're grateful that you didn't have that, because you didn't have to deal with that. You always, like you said, you split things.
Almost. I mean, maybe I would have made $2 million back in 1998, but would I have any of it now? Because I don't think I would have done well with that back then.
No. Like I remember watching a clip of an interview with I think it was Ryan Key, and maybe it was Sean their violinist, and they were on when Mark Hoppus had his show on. What was it, Fuse? I think he had a talk
Yeah.
show. Yeah, and you know, he was asking them like how they blew their Ocean Avenue money. Like he's like, so what did you blow it on? And I think Sean said a car. Sean or Ryan said a car, and like you know one of those super duper expensive cars, and it just ended up like
Yeah, I mean, you
breaking
always
down.
think it'd be easier to invest a chunk of money. Ooh, I got a $2 million check in the mail. I'm going to invest it. When you're 22 years old, that's the last thing you're probably thinking about.
Yeah.
But when you're getting a steady flow of decent cash, I'm going to throw $2,000 into this, and I'm going to do that. It's I don't know. I'm thankful for the way that things played out for us. In the fans' mind, most of them never think of this. I've had people meet me and the guys that were one of their favorite bands, and Blink might be one of their favorite bands, and they look at us in the same regard they would as Mark or Tom. Like we're just as big as stars in their heads as them. So it's all perception, and
Yeah.
you're thankful for what you do have. And I mean, our career's crazy because I always reference the example. This is a true story. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. We played Greenfield Festival in Switzerland. We're up in the mountains. It's just serene. We've done this festival a number of times. Tons of huge bands. I want to say maybe Foo Fighters headline that night.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
or
that's huge.
I think Pearl Jam headline that night. Nonetheless, we played to 60,000 people that day, going berserk. Like 10 circle pits in every direction you're looking. And the very next day, we played Rock Planet in Ravenna, Italy, to 600 punkers. Going completely apeshit crazy, having the time of their life, but there's no ego with us. It's not like, man, yesterday we played to 60,000, now we got to play to 600. It's like we're gonna still deliver the same show,
Right.
So,
I was gonna ask what's your mindset when you're switching from 60,000 to 600? Is it still exactly the same, or do you have to do things a little differently? Because I've heard both sides of the coin.
the aggression, the attitude, everything of the show is all the same. There's no more nerves or nervousness in getting up in front of 60,000 versus 600. But yeah, you're gonna treat a festival crowd and command a crowd a little differently. At least we are. We know how to. We've done enough of them, and we know how to work it. This 600-person club, everyone in there's wasted, especially in Italy. They don't care. Just as long as it's loud in their face and you play the song, it's different in that respect. Maybe we always try. We always give it our best, but you don't have to work as hard in the club in Italy maybe as the 80 by 100 foot stage at the festival. So
Yeah. Let's see. We're getting some fan questions here. Brittany wants to know if you have any rituals. I'm guessing she means like pre-show rituals.
I hope so, because she doesn't want to hear my real life rituals.
That could be a whole nother ball game, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we not really. We kind of the whole band. I mean, I won't warm up my voice, and try to do some stretching and get my heart rate up a little bit. I'll do some running in place and do some squats and different things, stretch out. But that's important, especially the older that I get. I go out there because we're still a pretty active band, and singing takes a lot, breathing and again, when you're outside at 65 degrees and at a festival in Switzerland, the humidity's not killing you. But when you're in the 600-person club, you got that to contend with too. So warming up and for the most part, just keeping things jovial with the rest of the guys. We're constantly busting each other's balls up till we get to the stage. It's just anything goes. It's like 8th grade locker room, just that. And it's ridiculous. Like I've said stuff to my trombone player. Him and I have a thing, or he'll say something to me right before I go on, and it almost pisses me off. And he'll kind of give me like a little wink and a nod, like right when we're about to take the stage, I'm like, you son of a bitch. So, there's that kind of stuff. So those are our rituals.
Yeah,
keeping it light.
You have to. There's just something about it's coworker stuff. Like coworkers do that to each other. It doesn't have to be just a band.
Yeah, it really is. But coworkers get to go home and sleep next to their own dog. I got to smell my guy's feet at 3 a.m. traveling down the interstate. So
I bet you haven't. You probably. I mean, have you missed that in the last year? Like, I'm
No,
sure you
I've
haven't missed
actually had
that part.
Roger's been FedExing me his socks every week. So I go to bed with his sock next to me. I feel like I'm on the road.
Oh,
great.
that's a good one.
Nice. Yeah. Come on. That's the first time I got an applause.
That's a good one right there. I love that. So getting to, I mean, this last year has just been so incredible, not only for Less Than Jake, but for you, just because it seems like from the outside you've finally been able to do like so many different things that you've probably been wanting to do. Because I remember thinking back, like the first couple times that you were on the Mike Herrera podcast, I was thinking about, wow, like I feel like Chris would be really good at a podcast, like hosting a podcast. And then, it's like 2020 presented that opportunity for you. And then the solo recordings too. I mean, I'm sure that was also something where it was like, oh, you got some downtime. Maybe you can finally do this, or was it something you were already working on before the whole pandemic?
No, I was at a crossroads. Starting in late 2018, 2019, I was really wondering, like, I have young, small children now, and I'm it wasn't like a midlife crisis or anything like that. It was just kind of like, I'm halfway through my life. That's if I live to my mid 80s, and like, what else is there for me? All I've done is music, which has been great. It's all I ever wanted to do. But is this what I really want to continue doing? I think everybody faces that in life, where they think of, no matter what it is. This could be highly successful people or people that have had 30 different jobs in life. Like, who am I? Am I just the guy from Less Than Jake? And that's all I ever wanted to be. And I was completely fine with that. But it was hard to think of taking on. I'm kind of an all or nothing person. If I can really put some time and effort into something, I'll do it. And our band just never stopped. I mean, we just kept going all through the years. And so, when it was a series of things that led up to all the projects, like I said, late 2018, I had just moved and moved my family and up to Tennessee. And I was going through all these boxes and setting up my studio, my memorabilia room, which I'm in right now.
It looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've saved one of everything Less Than Jake's ever put out. I have one of everything.
Gosh.
It's insane. But so I was going through pictures, and I just scanned a picture from the old days, and I put it on my Instagram. And I just put out this caption. It was a joke, like, I'm going to put a picture and a story once a day for a year until I surpass Roger in Instagram followers, kind of, again, busting one of the guys.
Did it work? Did it work?
Balls. I'm catching up to him. I need you to follow me, everybody, at Less Than Chris D, and tell all your friends, damn it. He's better looking. He's got dreadlocks. I've accepted that. It's been a rough pill to swallow, but I finally accepted it. But so I put this picture out. That was December 5th of 2018. And one of the first comments was JR, our sax player. He's like, "You won't last 2 weeks, but this is good content." And I said, "Okay, you bastard, I'm going to show you." And so I did that. I posted a different picture with a different caption, and I ran it all the way till December 4th, 2019. And I've always wanted to write a book for years. And I have every rock and roll biography and autobiography you can think of. Anyone from Sting to Meatloaf to Motley Crue to Beyonce. I have them all. It doesn't matter what kind of music. I'm just fascinated by it. I live the life, and I just love hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
So
because you can relate to them. You can relate to them. Yeah.
And so I had started to write a book a couple times. I've told this story recently. Dave McWayne from Big D and the Kids Table, he's written some books, and I said, "How'd you start it, man? Like, what'd you do? What was the process getting a publisher?" And he gave me a rough outline. You should make an outline, just like the old school book report, kind of go through this.
Gosh.
I started, at one point I got through like 2 chapters, but they all kind of read like all the other ones. It was like, "Hi, I'm Chris DeMakes. I'm from Michigan. I was born this year. My parents, we moved to Florida when I was 7. And when I started doing this picture and story once a day, it dawned on me about 3 weeks into it, late 2018. It was around Christmas time. I remember waking up one day and saying, "I'm writing my book right now, one story and one picture at a time." And that's what Blast from the Past ended up being. I went back then, and a lot of the stuff was written from the perspective of it was that day. So everything had to be edited. I had to take a lot of the stories are the same, but I had to put it in, sometimes it was in first person when it shouldn't have been, and just different things. And my producer of the show, Chris Afalius, he helped me edit the book. We spent weeks. It took a long time, lots of hours to get it together, because I'm a stickler for grammar and and things like that. So grammar and spelling. And so basically, we went ahead when it was all done. I partnered with Smart Punk Records, and we put the book out. And it's a 18-month book campaign, started in December of 2020 when the book was released. And every couple months, there's another 7-inch that comes out with 2 songs, and then some new merch items. I just had a single drop today, June 9th. It was called Father Time, is the new single. And, it kind of reinvigorates the book every 3 months, and lets you know, hey, I got this book that I'm still, didn't want to put the book out. I wanted to kind of look at it as like a record release, like you spend a year and a half promoting it. So everything's going to culminate with my first solo record. It'll be a full length called Blast from the Past. It'll be all the songs on the 7-inch plus some songs held over. That'll come out in the summer of 2022.
Okay, wow. So we've got all this cool. We can look forward to hearing the songs in the meantime, and
Pretty much, yeah. I was gonna start out doing 5 7-inches. That would have been
Mhm.
10 songs. We decided we're gonna do. We just put the second one out. The third one's gonna be released in late August. I think we're going for pre-orders for it, and then so that'll be 6 songs, 2 songs on each 7-inch. But we're stopping there. I'm going to hold the other 6 songs for the album. We thought it might give people more incentive to buy the full length. And if 10 songs were released and we only held 2 songs back. So, but
Right.
pretty much every 3 to 4 months, there'll be new merchandise items, and we'll give the book a little bit more of a push. But the cool thing about the book too, is you don't have to be in the music business. I've had some great compliments. People have been like, this book's just all over the place. It's wacky, and the stories are just ridiculous, and
They're
you don't
so
have to,
good.
yeah, so it works as a kind of cool coffee table book for anybody.
Yeah,
Or toilet reading material, I've heard.
There you go. I was gonna. There's another.
Yeah. And if you really hate the book, you can use the book to wipe your ass. So.
Oh, yeah,
There's another
actually.
laugh. Boo.
There you go. I think I got a boo in here too. I used to. I don't know where it
Fire
went.
that one up, yeah.
Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. Anyway, yeah. What I love about the book is that it's an easy read, and all the pictures are just like, you're like, wow, like this really happened, you know. And it also made me wonder, where along the lines did you just like one day decide to like stop doing all those characters, or was it like gradual thing?
Yeah, a couple things happened. We had gotten per capita more popular in England and the UK than anywhere. We had a label over there that blew us up on our Borders and Boundaries record, and we were on MTV. We were in all the magazines. We were on the other video channels. We were on the radio there. It happened. I mean, and it was funny to us. We funny from the respect that it was great to be able to look at it the way we did. We had been a band for 10 years. We had great success, but we were never, for lack of a better word, like stars. I mean, we'd play festivals over there. There'd be, teenage girls screaming and running after Roger and I. And we were like 29 years old at this time. It was hilarious to us. Like where the hell, where were you when we were in high school? And then like, where have you been all these years? Like, we had fans, but there wasn't that hysteria. No, the media and the right push in marketing, and having your name in the billboards, and having your face on video, it makes you into a star. You're to that next level. So we were over there doing this, and I started to feel like the band wasn't having an identity, because I mean, you saw the book. Like, there'd be one night I'd be dressed as a trucker, and the costumes are authentic. It wasn't like, okay, he's got a cowboy hat on and a fake beard that looks really bad, but he's still wearing Adidas shorts. No. It's like down to the dip can in the back pocket, like the tooth blacked out, like the right shading for the beard. It's like basically, like college or high school, college theater.
Theater. I was just gonna say, totally like theater. Yeah.
Right. And that's what it was. And it was great, and it was fun, and it was all bred out of boredom. We didn't have smartphones. it was really hard to find good pot in the 90s, especially in places like Omaha, Nebraska. We were bored. So we'd get to the venue at 4 in the afternoon after driving 8 hours, and you'd pull up and you'd be like, all right, I'm going to get up and walk around. And inevitably, where the punk rock clubs were, you typically weren't in the greatest parts of town. It's like, okay, there's a liquor store, there's a check cashing place. Ooh, there's a thrift store. And you'd go in the thrift store and you'd walk around and be like, ooh, there's a 50-cent wig. And I'd put it on and look in the mirror, and I'd have a roadie with me or one of the guys, but they'd laugh their ass off. I'd buy the wig and I'd put it on that night. Then I was like, well, I got the wig on and I'd be rocking out 3 or 4 songs. Finally, the wig would fly off and you'd see the front row just lose their minds. Like, holy crap, that guy's wearing a wig, because I'd make sure the wig looked real, of course. Then it was like, well, what if I took it up a notch? And what if I got a suit that night with the wig and a mustache? Now I look like your science teacher who you hate. And so I'd be cruising around the clubs and people would look at me like, why is this guy here? And this is pre-internet, you know? We never really put our faces in the CD. We were too punk rock for that. And you couldn't like look what our faces look. So I would hit the stage after wandering the club, be like, and I'd start singing History of a Boring Town or some of these songs, and you'd see the audience go, this is my favorite band, and that's him, you know? So got a little long-winded real quick to answer your question.
No.
It got to the point where I was like, this is almost like we don't have an identity. You know, you notice bands like Slipknot, after a while, they took the masks off in interviews. Corey Taylor had to be somebody. You know, he couldn't just be that guy behind the mask, because, you know, for me, it was really about, it had kind of gotten played out. It was a pain in the ass to do it, but I felt like, okay, I'm 30 years old now. Is this funny anymore? Or is this just a parody of yourself? So that's kind of why I went to the wayside.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you did it for, a long time, to give you credit. I mean,
it was about 8 years.
I was going to say, and I mean, the fact that there was no internet back then and you had all those pictures is still pretty amazing.
Our old trombone player and our roadie, Mr. Skull, Andre, they were the lion's share of the pictures. Pete had a camera around his neck at all times, and they captured a lot. And then what was great was as I got into the Instagram thing and I was posting them, now fans were starting to send it. And I got some pictures from fans. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember this character, you know? And it was like, but the book was great because it kind of, not that I needed any type of closure. That's the only word that really comes to mind, but it kind of tied a knot on that whole part of my career. It kind of put a bookend there of like, wow, I did this, and just the memories and just being able to say that I did it and look back. And it was absolutely ridiculous that I got paid to do that, you know, this was my job, you know, because it was absurd. It really was. And you know, we were young, and it was great times, and our friends were around, and you know, there was not gonna lie, there was some alcohol involved and other things, and it was a party, and to be able to document that and put it into a book and have people like it is awesome.
Yeah, I agree, and everyone should buy this book and take a look at it, because it is entertaining to the max. Even like,
shameless plug, if you want the book, it's at chrisdemakesa.com.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that. And also,
should have hit the boo just now.
I can't. I don't know what I did with it. Like, I had it, and all I have crickets. I've got goats. But
next time I come on, you better not say, hey, listen, I want to apologize. Last time you were on, I didn't have the boo track. I don't want to hear it. All right, Jacques? I don't want to hear it.
Well, let's wrap it up. Talking about, I guess, Father Time, since that was just released today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that track. Obviously, I noticed the artwork. I mean, it looked like it was a picture in one of your characters, and I'm assuming that was your dad, but I don't know that.
It is. It's in the book, the story. I don't know if you said you read about half the book. It's in there. You'll see it.
Okay.
That was taken backstage at the what was known as the Covered Dish. It's now called the High Dive. It's a venue in Gainesville, Florida. You'll notice Dad's holding a camcorder that's the size of a cinder block.
I did notice that, because I had one. I had one of those. And
my dad's just like been my biggest supporter. He's a musician. He played for years. Music was encouraged in my house. It was, you know, they were all about, you know, mom and dad coming out to the shows, raising hell. I mean, they would party as hard as anybody. We just had a ball. They've seen me in 400-seat sweaty punk clubs to playing in front of 100,000 people at the Reading and Leeds Festival in England. So
Yeah.
they've kind of seen it all. And my dad, he is he's gonna be 73 in August, and he was diagnosed with Parkinson's a couple years ago. So he's starting to have some difficulties health wise. And people always write songs about loved ones or celebrities or people when they're gone. And I had never written a song about my father. And I said, you know what? He's still here. I'm going to write a song called Father Time, which it's a double entendre. In the chorus, it says, you can't the end tagline in the chorus is you can't replace or outrun Father Time, which you can't replace all those years. I mean, Dad worked his ass off. He was a musician, and he was also in real estate, and worked long hours, but never missed a little league game, baseball, never missed the band shows when we were around, flew all over the world to see us play. So you can't replace that quality time with your dad. And you also, you can't outrun the clock. The clock's going to get us all. So that's what the song's about.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I've been thinking of. I'm like you. I've got a young son, and I think about those things all the time. So.
Yeah. The first two verses of the song, or the first 2/3 of the song, deal with my dad and like raising kids, my brother and I, and giving us that time. And then the last, the first two choruses, the last time it changes to me talking about my kids, and putting it in first person for me. So it was cool. It was the song came quick. I did the demo in like one sitting and wrote the lyrics like the next morning, and that was it. So yeah, that's what the song's about.
And as you've talked about many times on your podcast, like a lot of the best songs are just written just like that,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's definitely Father Time, and I think Never Surrender are my favorites that you've released so far. So,
Oh, thanks.
yeah.
Wait till you hear 24 Hours Till Bus Call.
Oh man.
And so again, the songs all deal with the book, like Never Surrender.
Right.
That whole thing came about. There was a band from Germany that wrote me. They wanted a custom song. They wanted me to write a song that they could record, and I wrote that song for them. And they sent me their version of it. I'm like, damn, they kind of hit it out of the park. And when they sent their version back to me, I'm like, wait a second. This song was written for them. They've been a band for like 10 years. They've never given up. They've never surrendered. They're flying the flag for punk rock. And I'm like, well, that's what we were doing all those years when the book started. And I'm like, and I even hit them up. I said, guys, I know this is my song. I wrote it, but you guys, did commission me to write it for you. And would it be cool? They were flattered. They were honored. They're like, that's awesome. You're going to record it too. So, that I'd put that song up. But all the songs deal with the book. They all deal with characters or times in the book. And my dad was in the book, of course, and he was there all those years. And there's another song coming out on the next 7-inch. It's 24 Hours to Bus Call. And the other song's called In Memoriam, which at the back of the book, there's an In Memoriam section of all the people I've lost.
Yes.
So that song is about all the people that aren't here today that were there for the whole journey with the band.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time, man. I know you're super busy, so really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And like I said, make sure you have the boo track next time. Don't apologize for it. And you're still playing the song, the bangarang on the radio.
I still play the theme song every single show. I start with it and I end with it. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well,
And I love
for
it.
that.
And I've gotten so many compliments on switching from the original theme song to your version of it, just because you took it up a notch, So
Right on. Well,
yeah,
thank you.
had so many people that were so excited about that a year ago. I guess it's been over a year already. My gosh. So yeah, thanks for that. So you're still doing custom songs too.
Still doing
Probably
custom songs. If you'd like me to write you one, hit me up at chrisdemakes@gmail.com, and we can get into that. I'd love to write you one. Yeah, I'm still I'm gonna do that forever. I just love it. I love the interaction. I love from the inception, from the person writing me to and that's been one of the biggest rewards of it. It's not even from a financial standpoint. It's been something to make money during the last year when the band wasn't touring, but it's the connection. Giving back and having the fans they like the conversing through email, and I enjoy it too. And and I've just seen how much it's meant to people. So it's been really, really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool thing. It's very special. So, any other real quick plugs before you go?
Jacques Lamour is one of the hottest hosts I've ever seen. I don't know if that's a plug, but I felt the need to say that. You're better looking than me, and it's very insulting.
It must be the shirt. I think that's.
I am due for an eye checkup at the end of the month, but so.
It must be the Less Than Jake shirt I'm wearing.
That's what
think
it is.
That's,
no, man, just
yeah.
best of luck to you, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Of course, always, man, and take care, and excited to see what comes next.
Right on.
All right, see ya.
All right, before we get out, before
Yep.
we leave here, I'm gonna do a something I always do.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey, this is Chris DeMakes from Less Than Jake, and you're listening to Pop Punk Pizza with Jacques Lamour.
Yay! Oh, wait a minute.
I should have said Pop Punk and Pizza, right? I said Pop Punk.
I mean,
pizza.
that's
Let's do it
fine.
again.
Okay.
I'm a stickler for details.
I'm ready.
Right, here we go. Hey, this is Chris DeMakes from Less Than Jake, and you're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza with Jacques Lamour.
Ooh, man, that was so much better.
I put a little flair on the end of that one. You know,
we might have to talk after this show, and I can ask you how much it is to pay you to do that live each show.
Oh, my attorney just emailed you.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Hey, if you want
Right
Chris
on,
to do
brother.
that for you every show, man, it's this much. All right, man. Take care.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye. All right. Thank you so much once again to Chris DeMakes of Less Than Jake for being on Pop Punk and Pizza tonight. And yes, he is, of course, the voice behind our theme song, which I'll be playing here in just a moment. But I quickly want to remind you that Pop Punk and Pizza podcast is presented by Pop Punk Takeout, a monthly subscription box filled with merchandise from pop punk artists from all over the world. Now, their first takeout box for June features merch from Keep Flying, which is actually a similar style to Less Than Jake, now that we bring that up. So go to poppunktakeout.com and subscribe today. Follow on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout. And then additional support for this episode comes from sex, drugs, and emo, heartbreak, anxiety, depression, you name it all, and you're going to find it in our sponsor's book, which is Rock Bottom at the Renaissance, an emo kid's journey through falling in and out of love in and with New York City. It's the best-selling mixtape memoir about struggling with mental illness and the power that pop punk and emo can have to help you get through it. So Rock Bottom at the Renaissance, it's not just an audiobook, it's an audio experience starring Tyler Posey and featuring a 20-song soundtrack that includes not one, but two Jimmy Eat World recordings that you can't hear anywhere else. They're only in this audiobook. And there's also songs from Dashboard Confessional, Mayday Parade, The Wonder Years, Bayside, Alkaline Trio, and more. And for links and to find it at your favorite place to buy books, ebooks, or audiobooks, you can go to rockbottom.com. And I really suggest, getting the audiobook on Audible to hear the way Tyler Posey puts himself into the story and to feel that way. The 20-song soundtrack will put you directly into the story. That's the coolest thing about this mixtape memoir. Now, if you think people think you're weird because, you find a way to relate to literally every single song, or because you play songs on repeat because you're sure that they were specifically written for you, then Rock Bottom at the Renaissance, an emo kid's journey through falling in and out of love in and with New York City isn't just for you. It's about you. So get more info at rockbottombook.com. And also, if you haven't done so already, you can actually listen to an episode of Pop Punk and Pizza where I talk to the author. Mike Henneberger was on the podcast last year talking about the book. It's episode number 113 of Pop Punk and Pizza, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, or maybe you did originally, and it's been a hot minute, and you want to go listen to it again. Please do that. And once again, episode 113 of Pop Punk and Pizza. And once one more time, thank you to Cameron and Drew of Ring Out for being on the podcast tonight. Please show them some love and support as well. I'm Jacques Lamour. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, live on our Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube accounts. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pop Punk Pizza Pod, and also catch up on previous episodes wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, or you can go to poppunkpizzapod.com to do so. Sign up for our email list there. You can submit your band's music there. You can buy merch, all that fun stuff at poppunkpizzapod.com. So I will talk to you next Wednesday. And what day is that even? I'm already forgetting. It doesn't matter. We do this every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. But July 16th is our next live episode. So have a great rest of the night. And once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Hey, hello, it's night.